This painting I'm gonna do today is for all you ladies.
Oh, good.
It's a nautical painting.
A nautical.
No, I just spent the week in Maine. I was up in Camden, Maine, and did a couple paintings, more sketching than paintings, no photographs. I'd rather sketch out something that intrigued me than take a photo, because a lot of times you look at the photo, you want to paint the whole photo, but it doesn't work for me. I painted outside most of my life. 19 years I spent in Rockport, in Gloucester, Massachusetts, painting with Robert Groupie. Taught me to paint outside an hour and a half, and that's it. Leave, go do another painting. Don't spend more than an hour and a half, because the light changes and you start changing everything with it. I like that little quote about the frame, the mat. That really, the bad painting needs it. That's really true. That's great. The Arches paper, cold press. Paints are only Winsor Newton. That's what I've used all my life. I know what they can do. I understand the colors. Anybody have any questions, don't be afraid to ask while I'm painting. First thing I'm gonna do is dampen the paper for the sky. Sky has no hard edges, so I'm gonna dampen it so everything will blend. Big brush. Always try to paint with the biggest brush you can use in that area. People take a smaller brush and they're gonna fool with it. You just wanna do is throw that paint on there. So a big brush will do that. Gonna try to show you getting near the end of the day, getting a little warm in the sky. And if I'm outside, this is how I paint.
I gotta move the camera.
Okay?
And you always paint standing up?
99% of the time. By the time I have a stool and this sort of a little thing where the paper's propped up, if I'm close to my car, I'll set it up and sit, but if I gotta walk, a block or so, the hell with it. And put the stuff down between my legs and just paint that way.
Is that a cobalt?
There's a little cobalt and a little cerulean blue.
This way? Yeah. Well, I'm trying to keep Brandy's head out of the...
Yeah, don't get my head in.
You're going towards the water, John. You want to go the other way.
Yeah?
Higher.
Come on, John, get with it.
Oh, lady, I tell you. You don't get respect.
You gotta earn your respect, John, come on.
What's the trouble, lower?
Yeah. Higher.
Well, wait.
You're getting there.
Can you see this?
No.
Well, you have the borders in full frame there. You can go towards the water jars. Are great.
Okay?
Now it's crooked. Now it's slipping like this. I'm getting seasick, John. Are we on a boat?
Yeah. Come on, John.
Can the camera come down? Good.
How about his head? Is he...
Not now.
Okay, good. We don't have to decapitate.
You'll see when you come around, John.
So if you'll notice, it's probably very light on the photograph, but there's not a lot of color in the sky. I started using this silly color about 3 years ago every painting I want to use it. Opera Rose. It's very pretty. I'm not a flower painter, but if I was to paint flowers, that color had to be in there. It's so soft. Just gives you a nice glow.
So it's not opera and it's not rose, it's some kind of a combination?
It's Opera Rose, it's called.
Okay.
Yep. And I like to use a lot of violet or purples, pretty colors. And I've told this for the last 15, 20 years. When I painted with Robert Grupe, his dad would paint a painting, and he'd start with purple in the sky and then put some orange on it with oil paint. And I go, what the hell is he doing? And proceed to paint, and all of a sudden put a little touch of blue here and there, and phew, the sky came in. And the son said to me, Robert, Dad always said, if in doubt, purple it out. Purple is the medium color to relax you. So any colors you're using, that violet purple goes in there and just, soothes it. And there you go, you're set. I'm gonna try to finish this painting. I don't like to go to see a demo halfway there, the guy says, well, that's how I paint. So, gotta bear with me, I'm gonna try to do this for you.
You don't mix your purples, you use a purple paint.
I use purple, yeah. I only use Winsor Newton paints, so I buy their violet with their purple.
What color is that?
A little burnt sienna with a little cadmium red. I love to draw, but that can be a hindrance because I don't want to draw this painting and then fill in the lines. But I like realism. It's just who I am. So I got this color in there. That's enough to be said there. Paint the wharf. If you're outside painting, you don't have a lot of time. I've been outside, I've taken out work groups where the people will sit down and pretend that they're gonna get everything perfect, so they're gonna paint this building, they'll stay on that building for 15 minutes, make sure every line, you can't do that. You don't have time. You have to sort of run through it. Just put it in there and get out.
Do you go back
Don't you
in?
photograph the scene first?
No. The only thing I photograph could be maybe a lobster boat or a certain barn, but it's not to do the painting from the photograph. It's only a reference for that subject. When I studied commercial art was that way. I was given these where you would have to depict from a story. You're gonna do a scene for a magazine or a book, like a love novel or something. And they would tell you, this takes place in 1920 in France. Well, I had racks of fire hydrants, light posts, street signs from all over the world. Because the guy would say, okay, here's this novel, you have to they give you a synopsis to read it. You gotta come up with a painting or a drawing for the cover of that book. Remember the little novels you used to buy?
Yeah.
You know, so here's a girl in France or something, the time of the era. So I would have photographs of all of them items so I know what they look like. It's like I went to do the painting for Trump down there in Atlantic City. They asked me to paint Atlantic City. And I told them, it's too glitzy for me. So they says, well, whatever do you want? And I picked 1900. And now I researched what the woman wore in 1900, the bustle skirts, and the men with they would have the armbands around and roll up their sleeves. So that's what you take, to me, photographs of. But to take it just for a picture, ain't gonna work.
I didn't.
Now, this paper is quite wet, but that's okay. I don't want to get too carried away with having too dry effect here.
Are you using a reference right now?
A reference?
Yeah. To
Now.
No,
Here,
in your head.
in my head. I've painted this area up in Maine quite a few times. And the subject, no matter where you are, is almost the same anyway. So now it's just a thing of trying to make this painting have effect where you're looking at the time of the day, what's there.
Randy, will the tape cut off that boat on the right-hand side when you tape it?
Say that again.
When you mat it, will you be cutting off that boat on the right-hand side that you're doing?
This one here?
Yeah.
Will I be cutting it off?
When you put the mat on.
No, quarter inch. You can lose a quarter inch, that's all.
Okay.
What size is that paper?
1824.
Thank you.
Now, the big thing is, this is Spruce Head Island, which is just south of Rockland, Maine. It's a little island, and there's a couple lobstermen in there, and there's always a little, what would you call, a yacht club that's in there. So you're gonna see a little bit of everything here. I'm taking ultramarine blue, little burnt sienna. I only use one green, and that's Hooker's green. I don't have any other green, I mix the other greens. And that's going right in here. See how bold that is? So,
Yes.
what I do, not to waste time, spray it up a little bit so that you can move the color around.
Is that Hooker's green?
Hooker's green with ultramarine blue
Okay.
and a little burnt sienna. I have a little rubber cement down, biscuit, to save the whites.
Oh.
Because for the times thing, if I was home, I probably wouldn't do it. But here I want to sort of get this thing done in an hour, so I put the biscuit down.
Is that a good brush that you were using? That, yeah.
This one here, this is a Winsor Newton brush. It's not the end of the world. You know, it's a 1 inch. It's not bad.
White sable?
It's not a sable brush.
White sable, I think they call it.
Yeah. I'll tell you something. I'm very rough on brushes. To me, brushes are only an extension of your hand, and I'll take them and I'll plop them down. I could care less. My wife, oh my God, I don't tell my age, but it's got to be 40 years ago. Bought me this brush. 40 years ago, spent $32. I could have killed her. You know, that's a lot of money. But it's still there. It's still there. But otherwise, I buy cheaper brushes and use the hell out of them. Now I want to get darker, so I'm going to put a little indigo into this green. Now, shouldn't spill it on the sky. So this, by doing this here, this quick, the one thing I'm looking to do, I always tell all my students, when you have a sheet of white paper and your eye looks at that whole scene, the white paper is influencing everything, so you gotta get rid of the white paper. Put color down. I don't care what color sometimes, just get it down there. So you're not reading that white. You put some color down and say, wow, look how dark that is. Against the white, it's dark. But as you paint through, it's not dark enough. And then you gotta go back with more color again. You get to a point where you're doing the painting 4 times. You all right, John?
That better? Did it bring the bottom of the painting up
Almost.
higher?
Do you want me to put the painting up a little bit?
No, just, I'll move the camera, but,
That's better.
yes?
That's better.
Come on, John, get with
Get
it.
with the program.
Yeah,
Gotta tilt your head to the side to see it.
you're doing it, and you're not doing it right.
You're gonna all go home like this.
Now, we've lost half the painting.
You lost half the painting? Which half? This half?
Perfect.
Perfect? You got a good shot of his head, right? Maybe I'll paint a smiley face on it. I'll leave it there till you complain some more.
Okay, listen, it's better than it used to be. Remember? With the mirror? That's Is that burnt sienna with something dark?
Yeah, we got a little burnt sienna and a little ultramarine blue. Now, I don't know if you've seen when I started painting, I painted the sky colored all the way down here, so it's not white anymore,
Yes.
just to get rid of white. So now what I have here, I'm gonna turn around and take this and bring this down.
Is it still wet?
This is just damp.
Well, I'm trying to, so that you can, I'm gonna come this way and then kind of shoot more of at an angle, so his head's not quite in it so much.
Seeing the palette.
We're getting all palette in this picture.
That's good.
Just slid back.
Goodbye.
How we doing, John?
I don't.
What, John, I'll move the painting. Tell me what you need.
Just have to get short artists.
Yes, right.
What is it? What is it that?
Nothing, I gotta come this way.
There you go. That's good.
Okay, that's the last
Now
time.
we see the paintbrushes.
His palette isn't in
It
there.
has to go over.
Gotta go.
You want me to move this way? I can move this.
Oh, that's enough.
Does this help? More?
Down a little bit.
John, go home, will you? Go home.
This will make it even easier, so we don't have to slop all over the painting.
So anyway, the only thing that's left through is some whites, which is going to be most of the boats. And I can refine this here. I'm not really happy with the sky color, but it is what it is. I can go back, it's got to dry because it's a little wet yet. I can go back and do the sky again before I proceed with anything else going over the sky. Follow me? If I wanted to, but I'm not even going to go there.
What don't you like about the sky?
It could be a little darker, a little warmer, okay? That's my feeling anyway. I'm gonna try it. Let's see what we get. It's only a piece of paper, right? Not a big deal. Let's see what we get here. Yeah, that's what we're doing.
That's not blue.
Again, here comes that pink. That opera rose color with a little orange. And a little, let's use a little bit of this red too. A little bit of violet. You know, I remember seeing Ferd Petrie paint. And I always admired his work. And my first size, I don't know, I may have told this story to you people before. My first demonstration was in Ridgewood, where I teach in the Art Institute. And I did it upright. I said, I'm gonna handle this thing upright. And it was only this size, not a big deal about the painting. But I looked in the audience, I'm ready to go up there, and he walks in, and I go, of all the people in the world, he's gotta come.
You felt intimidated?
Yeah, really intimidated. So I said, the hell with it. And I proceed to paint. Painted for 45 minutes. I'm going, and I'm talking, and everything's really going good. It was a lighthouse with some shrubs in the front and there were some sticks. And I says, I got to get back and see where I am. So I walked back through the yards, looked at it, I go, wow, this is pretty good. A couple more strokes, I walk back and I pick up a rigger brush. Proceed to wet the brush, I'm ready to paint, and all of a sudden, I hear, and everybody's claps. I put the brush down and says, okay, that's it, good. So now they come up and they're looking at the painting, and he walks up and he says to me, Brandy, great job. I said, yeah, I really wasn't done. He said, no, you were done. I'm in the back of the room. As soon as you picked the little brush, I don't care what you did, I'd never see it. It didn't make any sense. Like, you told the story, that's enough. So throw the brush down and be done with it. So I try to stay away from these little guys. Because whatever I do, I can see here, but you won't see it there. And a lot of times, it's not the story. My students are sitting there and they're painting for 3 hours and everything's here. And I'll take the thing away and put it 10 feet away. I says, you just spent a half an hour fooling with that and you can't even see it. When you hang the painting on the wall, you're not going to see them little new unless you go to an art gallery and you walk in and you ever see that? In the museum, people walk up, they put their nose right in. I don't know what they're looking for. Or unless it's a brush stroke. If it's an oil painting and a brush stroke, well, that's different. But not watercolor. It's pretty well damp yet, but I'm going to get in there again because I really have to attack this green. It's got to get dark.
So are you adding more indigo?
Here we come. There's the indigo. Wow,
That's
huh?
dark, that's dark.
That is dark, isn't it?
Making me nervous.
Making you nervous? Let's put a little yellow there. Look at that. Oh my God. And a little green.
Behold, behold.
Nice and dark. I love it. Oh, good. Now, as I get over here, I'm not going to wash the brush. As the trees come out of the woods, they're dark on the bottom. Everything's dark. But they're going to go up and they catch light. So here comes the yellow into play. Because the light is coming from this side, the left side. So now we take this brush and really get it in there to make sense of it. I'll stay on this dark side while I'm here with this brush. And a lot of times I'll take the brush and heel it. You see this way I'm pushing it down? If you want to have a soft edge, just heel the brush. Not going to hurt the brush. It's really not fair. I'm up here flinging this paint around, having fun. You people got to sit there and look.
We're having fun too.
Now I can start to shape things here where they're making sense to me.
You want to get a little lighter with this shadow, just try ultramarine blue instead of the indigo. But the color that's right there still has the yellow. I don't want to lose all of that. What's amazing is that up there, like the Spruce Head Island, there's probably 3 or 4 hardwood trees on it, the rest is all pine. I had a second cousin of mine. He was an accountant for Citibank in New York or something for years. When I first got married, he was about 50 then, but he married a woman from Ridgewood who had a lot of money, and they bought this house, a big old house that had an elevator in it and everything. I remember going there, seeing the elevator. I couldn't believe an elevator in a house in Ridgewood. But a big old house. But her family had a lot of money. And she raised these little dogs, the little Chihuahua dogs or whatever they were. All I know, they used to yelp. Yelp, yelp, yelp. She had 3 of them. And she said to her husband that about time to move out and go to Maine, to enjoy Maine. So he bought a house on this island, a little house, and within a matter of 5 years, he bought 3 more houses on it. And he used to rent them out. And the lobster men there, that they used to bring him lobster, he begged me to come up there to paint. So I went up there for 3 days with my wife. And by the 3rd day, my wife says, we gotta get out of here. Can't stand these dogs. They're yipping all the time, day and night. But it was interesting painting there. A couple more strokes back in there. Don't want to get too carried away with this, the pine.
It's hard to believe it could be too noisy in Maine.
And from my experiences.
My only real big thing about Maine is the driving. The people drive so slow.
They're on Maine time.
It says 35 miles an hour, they're doing 20. And the couple's driving, and he's going, pointing to her, look out the window there, you know. Oh. This lady friend I went with, she likes to have a glass of wine after 6 o'clock. So we go to a restaurant, it's 6 o'clock. She says to the waitress, I'll have a glass of wine, please. She goes, okay. She says, and we want to take our time and have a little wine. The woman says, oh, take your time. Well, that was the worst thing. 35 minutes, I'm going, I'm getting hungry. They're just slow. I guess it's a good thing. I'm taking off this rubber cement already.
What brisket do you use?
I use this not Windsor Newton. I can't stand it. It's the
Greg?
I got it right here. You buy it with the little nib pen. Incredible mask. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Incredible white mask. That you buy and it has this little pen to put it on with. Yeah, I love it. It dries pretty fast, so you don't have to worry about it sitting there for. Some of them, I don't like the colors that they are.
What's the, does it have a long shelf life?
I leave it on the painting about a week.
No.
In the bottle?
In the bottle,
If you don't use it,
yeah.
if you don't open it a lot, a year. If you open it a lot, air keeps going in there.
Yeah.
I usually buy a big container, and then I'll keep this thing pretty full so I could travel with it. But even the big one at home, then after a while, probably the bottom quarter I can't use anymore. You know, solid up. Yep.
Still painting in oil, Randy?
Yeah, yeah. every once in a while, I like to go back and forth.
Is your subject matter the same when you paint oil?
Basically, yeah. You know, I'll do a lot more still lifes in oils. It's all according to how I feel. I always try to paint what I want to paint. What I mean by that is, I don't get addicted to what's the current market. Going back in the late 60s to 70s with portraits. A year later it was dogs, or then flowers, seascapes. Just paint what you love to paint. It'll come out. You know, don't worry about what's the fad, what's the marketplace. Okay, let's tackle these boats. How we doing on time?
Good. So the 2:45.
Was it cold up there in Maine last week?
No, I was up there in July.
Oh, July.
No, it was warm. It was warm. The thing is, before when I put these colors on here, I didn't take this paint down, but that's not gonna bother me. So what I wanna do now is work, that color to here works for me. This gotta be darker, so I'm gonna shoot, get that darkness in from the reflections of the trees. Then I'll deal with these boats. A lot of times I'll take like a little burnt umber and put it into the green, just to warm it up. You gotta realize, this is how it would be painting outside. And a lot of times I'll use a 14 by 20 instead of this 18 by 24. Because it's a little smaller and you can really run with it. Like I say, it used to be hour and a half, gotta move. The fellow groupie told me, we're leaving. So set yourself up, hour and a half. Hour and a half, he said, that's it. You'd be packing up and, oh, Christ, I'm not 3/4 done. And after about 2 months of that, I learned, just throw it down and get out, you know? And it works. Dark enough, dark enough. Yeah, I'll go back now and finish any little thing I want to do on that building and the piers, and that's be there. That's done. Little darker this here, shadow in here. Darken the roof a little bit. There's that sky. Put a little cobalt blue into that, even though it's mixing in. Leave that window alone there. And we'll straighten up this pier. Them through. Let's go back here and finish this guy. Anybody have any questions?
What's the weight of the paper? I didn't get it to the beginning.
It's 140, the block, because this is the block of the 20 sheet, it's 140 weight.
Thank you.
What material are your round brushes? Are they all the same?
Just about, yeah.
What,
I only have a couple sables, the rest of them white squirrel or whatever they be. Because I use so much of them, they're on sale, I'll buy them. See how dry this is? No, try it. See if I can get this off here. A lot of times by using the biscuit like this, and it's pretty damp, and you'll smear that green paint all over the place, but I'm gonna take a shot and see if we can get it off. There's a little green there, but that's okay. Ain't the end of the world.
Ferdinand Petrie, you've probably had him demonstrate here. You ever notice he comes with one pot of water? He starts and does the sky, and as he paints, the water's getting dirtier and dirtier. And I said to him, why? He says, Brandy, that dark color, everything comes together now. Them colors are all over the painting, so it don't matter anymore. It's okay.
See if I can scrub a little bit of this green out of here.
So you use two for the lighter colors on the boat, then you use two things of water?
Say that
You
again.
have two things of water there, one clean and one dirty.
Yeah, that's getting too dirty, so I'm gonna use this water. I want to be a little cleaner here.
Yeah, sir.
So this boat here, I know is going this way. And I'm gonna change this shadow up here. I put down a little bit of cobalt blue with a little bit of ultramarine for the shadow. I'm going to put a little bit of cream color into it because of the sky. Let's take this boat up a little bit. A little warmer in here.
Is that the shadow of the boat in front of it you're
Yep.
doing? Okay.
Let the rubber cement over here. Yeah. Most of the boats that we know today, it's like for me, for 19 years I traveled to Cape Ann, to Gloucester and Rockport and painted.
Haven't been there now in 2 years. It's no more old big boats. They're all plastic boats, you know. They're terrible looking. But people don't realize most of the boats are white today, fiberglass. But the old boats, wood boats or whatever, when they painted them green, dark Kelly green, or dark blue.
or white. That's your boat. If you're ever out in the ocean and look, when I used to go out fishing, and the boats are all out, and there's a glare on the water, you don't see the white boat. He's gone. The dark green boat will stick out, or the blue one. But the blue boat, on a nice day with the blue ocean, can't see that either. It was really tough. The old guys, the old boats, the old big schooner boats, they painted them with oil and tar. That's what it was. They just rubbed that on with a mop on the wood, so it really wasn't nothing fancy color. This one here is gonna be darker. You gotta get a little brush. Don't wanna do that the wrong way. Is painting making any sense at all? He is back there. I gotta say one thing, people are very quiet. You wouldn't disturb me if you were chatting, believe me. Okay, let's see what we can do with this here. Get this part done. There. There, put a blue. Who taught by this boat? before John showed me the magazine there from, what was his name, John, the drawer?
John Nagy.
John Nagy. I grew up with John Nagy. I love to draw, love to draw. And that may be one of my problems. A lot of times I go out with this size sheet and sketch it out, 20 minutes, whoa, bump, bump, bump. I wound up tearing that sheet off and starting again. The drawing was so good I don't want to paint it. Because I used to do a lot of pen and inks. Just love to do them.
Well, John does our newsletter, and last month he mentioned John Nagy. So I happened to find a book on how to draw to show, because it was recently, they had it at Jerry's, and then I saw it on sale in AC Moore. You want to look at it, but you can't take it.
It's really
But
good.
they still sell the kits. And, you know, it's the basic stuff that a lot of us grew up with, watching him. And it still works.
Yep,
Yeah, we watched him on TV. I'm sure it was on a Saturday morning.
yep, that's who it was. It was Saturday morning.
Better than cartoons.
Yep.
So one of the problems when I tried looking him up, I thought he was his last name was spelled N-A-G-Y, but it's actually
G.
G-N-A-G.
Yeah, with the G in it, you need the J.
Sure. Oh, probably. After I bought 2 sets for people I knew, one for myself, one for someone else, then I went to a garage sale or a house sale, and I got just the book.
Oh, you found the book at a garage sale?
Yes,
Wow.
might have been an estate sale, because it was old. But
How are we doing on time? Do I have to be done? It's 2:45.
I have
Are
time.
you gonna change the reflection of the body?
We're waiting
Yeah.
for the reflections
Oh,
of the boat.
okay.
Holding our breath.
Ah. I'm not gonna go there then.
Oh, no. Keep us in suspense.
Were you able to erase the pencil line?
Yeah,
Uh,
most of
with a
them.
certain pencil? Sometimes, after you wet it, you can't erase the pencil.
Yeah, yep, but it's good, it's erased good enough for me, I'll put it that way.
Have you considered a spot of red on those boats?
Yeah, I'm gonna really pop red in a minute. I love to put the red, but I wanna be careful here.
Do you do any fishing in Maine when you go up?
No, no. I used to fish, I had a place up the lake in New York State for about 18 years. And I fished for freshwater fish. I never was lucky much in the ocean, I think because it's so vast, you're out there, you can maybe see, what, 2 or 3 miles? So stand up in the boat, turn around 2 or 3 miles, where are the fish? Are they here, are they there?
Yeah.
You know, that's really rough.
Is that your complete kit for painting outdoors? That's everything in that box?
That's it. It's all there.
And he said he doesn't take the chair anymore. The chair or the,
It stays in the car. If I could take it out of the car and walk from here to the other side of the room and set everything up, I have a stool and I have a little folded thing where this will lay this way for me.
yeah.
I'll sit down, put an umbrella up. But an hour and a half, you gotta be gone. So I don't wanna get too comfortable. Most of the time I'll stand and maybe lean it on the back of my car. I'm not big for sitting on a rock and putting the thing between your legs. That's tough on the back. I can't do that much.
So that paper is dried, right?
Yeah, this is right now is dry and I'm putting this on here. I just want to darken this water a little bit. Got to do the reflections of the boats, right?
Yes. Please.
Let that dry a little bit. 2 more minutes would be done. Remember, most of the time, you're only painting the effect of something. You know, the effect of light.
Is it time to take the rigger away?
Yep. You know, I'm looking at this, something that's really annoying me here, and it's tough when I'm annoyed with it. Why? What am I doing here? But that's okay. Sharpen this line. Me with my big mitts laying on here. You know, here's a tip. Here's an oil brush. I have a couple of them in here. And when you want to scrub something out, that old oil brush, perfect. Somebody mentioned to me about if you go in a detergent aisle in the supermarket,
Mr. Clean sells a eraser block. Have you people tried it?
Yes.
I made a mess.
Oh,
I dampened a little piece of it and then rubbed. Is that what to do?
And rinse.
You have to be very careful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried this.
Can't be too wet.
It can't be too wet.
Yeah.
You can actually cut it on an angle so that you have a, like a wedge.
Yeah.
And you can erase very specific.
and different papers are going to react differently to it
Oh,
also. So
okay. That makes sense.
you know, I think even the most important thing, I think, is the paper that you use and what you get used to.
Well, you know, it's like this paper, I'm using this paper, and people ask me, do you always use this? I've stayed with this paper, this brand of paper. I like it, and I'm used to what it can do.
Right.
And it's not that it's the best in the world. I don't think they claim to be, I don't know. But, yeah, if you're used to a certain color or paint, paper, stay with it. Just have to straighten up a little bit of these couple of past shadows.
It's done.
And pierce.
Do you ever use an opaque white and correct?
I try not to. I don't carry it with me. At home, if I'm painting something and I'm really fooling with it, I may use it. I'd rather not. I don't try to be a purist, it's just that, hey, everybody can, you can use it. Not against the law, but if I can do it without it, I try it.
Why wouldn't the mast in the water be white?
Why wouldn't they? They would.
It's almost
Here we
time
go.
now to put that brush away.
Here we go. Whoop. I gotta get rid of this white, too, white. This will give you an idea. Here we go. I gotta see what it looks like. Take back that applause. I guess an hour.